Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Growing Orchids in Jamaica. Now, it is a rainy day, and actually it has been raining for the past 5 days. And guess what, guys? I am losing my blooms. Now, please subscribe to my channel to see more on how I grow and take care of my orchids in Jamaica. In this video, I will be sharing with you how I treat my orchids to reduce bloom loss. And if you want to see how I treat my orchids, just stay tuned. Today, I just want to show you what happens to my blooms when it rains like this. This time of year, we tend to get a lot of rainfall almost every afternoon. But for the past week, we have been getting rain consistently for the entire day. While the orchids like to be watered, they also like to dry out in between watering. And they are really not getting a chance to dry out. And because of that, they are losing their blooms. While I'm losing the blooms, they are all respiking. So pretty soon I will be getting new blooms in my garden. So if you notice here, I am getting a lot of spikes because the rain really does not affect the spikes, but it actually affects the blooms because of the soft tissues. Here again, I'm losing my bloom right here. So what I have to do, I walk through the garden and I clip these off. But then there are some blooms that I still have, and I'm really going to show you what I do to keep these blooms in my garden. Now, this is one of my Vanderbilts, and I have showed you a part of it some time ago, and I'm just showing you now exactly what is taking place in it. And here comes the rain again. Yes, for the entire day it has been raining. And so I am going to have to now put things in place to preserve the blooms that are left behind and to ensure that the plants do not die or suffer significantly from the rainfall. Now, outside of losing the bloom, one of the things that could happen is that they could also get crown rot. So let me show you this plant that has gotten a crown rot and see what happens here. It is actually sending out another baby plant because in the center of it, see, there is no young leaves coming out, and in order to save itself, it sends out a new plant called a kiki. Now, outside of the crown rot, this is also what happens. The blooms, they will get spots. So a lot of spots develop on them, which is as a result of some sort of bacteria which thrives or stays for a long time because of the amount of water that is on it. I also end up with the snails and the slug in the garden, because look at this. This is what I came and I found. This was actually eaten out by the snails in the garden. I quite recently did a video on how to get rid of the snails in the garden, so I think I may have to repeat that treatment because this is a time when you will see them most. Based on the fact that the rain is actually falling, it is difficult to do a slug and snail treatment at this time, because what will happen, the rain will actually wash it off, and so I have to wait at least until the rain has subsided somewhat to do that sort of treatment. So if you like what you're seeing so far, please hit the like button below, because guess what, I'm now gonna show you what I do to prevent my blooms from going during the rain. So if you notice, it's really an overcast day. It's not a very bright day, and these are some of the things that happen to some of the leaves from the plant. So if you would have noticed the spots, because they do not get a chance to dry out, and eventually the leaves will fall. Here is a typical example of one right here. So the leaf is actually yellowing and eventually will fall off. So I'm gonna show you what I do to prevent my leaves from falling off and to prevent my blooms from going as well. So let me show you what I do to keep my blooms, especially during the rainy period. Now, the things that you're gonna need, of course, perhaps a spray bottle, and I have this one, which is a 1 gallon spray bottle that I've had for a number of years, and I really like it because the pots are easy to change if something goes wrong. So I really like this spray bottle. And you're also going to need to wear a pair of gloves, and you're going to need your measuring tools. The chemicals that I use, no, I use Diligent, which is a fungicide. It is similar to that of the Reggae Gold, and what I like about it, it works both as a systemic and as a contact fungicide. So I really like this, and it, as I said, it is similar to that of the Reggae Gold. Also, I interchange it, and therefore I will interchange it with a Phyton 27, and for the Diligent it is used 1 tablespoon per gallon. For the Phyton 27 it is 3 milliliter to 1 gallon of water, and the Phyton acts as a systemic bactericide and a fungicide, so I interchange as needed. Also, as a insecticide, I use the Caprid, which is also a systemic insecticide, and this works for a broad spectrum of things. It works for thrips, it works for aphid, whitefly, leaf miner, and so forth. And to add to that, I will add a little 20-20-20, which is at the rate 1 teaspoon per gallon. And in the interest of time, I place my 20-20-20 in this container so to make it easier to use. And this here is very important. This is called CalMag. Now, calcium is very important because it helps to prevent blighting for the blooms, to stay firm and, you know, reduce the damage and to reduce the damage on them. So calcium is in this, and as well as magnesium and iron. So I'll add a little bit of this to my cocktail. And of course, this bottle, it has just water in it. So what I tend to do, I will put the chemicals in this bottle and agitate so that they dissolve. So I'm going to show you what I do here. So the first thing I'm going to add is 1 level teaspoon of 20-20-20. Then I'm going to add my CalMag, and it is also at the rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon, and at This time I'm making a 1-gallon mix. Then I'm going to be using the 5-ton at this time. So it is basically just a little over half a teaspoon to the gallon, and I'm going to shake it well. That's important. So I will not use a diligent today, but most times I use a diligent. And remember, safety is important, so it is important to wear your gloves and also a mask. And so this is a half a teaspoon that I'm going to be using. So just pull it just a little over so I get my 3 ml, because a half a teaspoon is actually 2.5 mils, and you want a little more than 2.5, so I just overfill it a little bit to get that. Alright, my insecticide is also applied at between half to 1 teaspoon per gallon. So today I'm going to use a half a teaspoon. The insecticide now will get rid of the ants and all of those other insects which will also affect your blooms. So spraying at times are important. Some persons will use eggshell to replace the calcium, but if you have quite a number of plants, then you will not be able to sustain that. So you will now have to resort to using the chemicals. In relation to the insecticide, I rotate mine as well. There are times when I may use Caratrac, Numectin, but most of the time I will use a Caprin because it is systemic and it seems to work. I do not necessarily spray every week. It depends on what is happening. So in times like these when we're having a lot of rain, then definitely I have to spray on a weekly basis. Some persons will add a sticker, and I myself at times will add a little. I had already filled my container with plain water, and I tend to use rainwater, so I harvest my rainwater for use in my garden because it doesn't like the chlorinated or other treated water. And so I'm gonna now add this to my container. Now I have my cocktail mix. Some persons will add a little Super Thrive or just about any other thing to enhance, but this is what I use. And then I close this tightly. I give it a shake to ensure that it is properly mixed, and then I pump it. And now this is ready for spraying my garden. It is also very important that you spray either early morning before the sun is too hot or late afternoon, because you don't want to spray during the middle of the day when the sun is hot, because that will cause burn to your plant. So that is very important. And so this is my routine. Don't forget to give me a like if you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment as well if there are anything else that you would want to know. And of course, please subscribe to my channel so that you do not miss my next video. And as we say in Jamaica, Palabakami, this is Orchid Duck, and I am growing orchids in Jamaica.